Link sprite, and I'm pretty happy to see Gem have like a little bit of diversion going on here with the pink sprite, so that's good.
And we have some divergence to start. Canis Samaria in Link's house and a piece of heart in the Sanctuary.
And right off the bat, you might see a clip from the zer0rush here. Oh, maybe not. He's doing Sashala.
We also got a map check. Eastern and Desert Palace are your normal crystals, and we have a blue pendant at Tower of Hera. And we got another piece of heart in the Bonk Rocks. zer0rush going straight for Hospitala's Closet. We've got a B-Torp, we got a Swagnet, and we got a piece of heart.
Meanwhile, Gem is like heading up, doing his level 1 tree pull. Probably gonna check the Lumberjack Cave. Which is not a bad idea. Also, only arrows from the tree pull and the Hoarder.
And just $5 in the Lumberjack ledge, so won't need to worry about that. It was very interesting seeing zer0rush go right for Sahasrala's Closet. In the last couple races that I've commentated, I've seen a lot of runners go away from Eastern Palace to start, so it was interesting to see that that was the first move that zer0rush did.
Now that I think about it for a little bit, that might be him, like, trying to counter, like a common meme going on around the Overworld glitches players. Like, usually you check Sashala really late after, like, an hour or something, like, because that eastern area is not really convenient to route in. So he might be, like, trying to counter that. Yeah, since we start with boots, Gem is gonna hit these bonk rocks here in front of the fortune teller, which will always drop a bomb. So that's a really good play, doing that before coming into town. So you always start off with a bomb. And you could also reset it by going into the fortune teller's house, so you get another bomb. But Gem decides one bomb is enough, so he will just try to get lucky in here.
How about a bow for luck? And water toes.
The Gem sure likes seeing that early. Like, now Eastern Palace might not sound too bad for these runners.
Not at all, and all those arrows he got from the bush crabs and the tree pole will certainly help. You could, I mean, lamp aside, Eastern is full clearable at this point.
And here we see what I mentioned earlier. zer0rush is like flipping into that slope by pressing left and the boots on the same frame. That moves him into the slope like a little further every time. And he will eventually wound up in a place where he can just hold down left in this case, and then he will clip either upwards or downwards, or like do a little teleport. And this was a so-called downwards teleport because he teleported down into the wall, right? And then you can just hop over to the left, and then you are on that mountain, and then can just jump over to K45. So that's pretty convenient.
All right, we have a heart container at the race game. zer0rush is now going to go ahead and clip up. I'm guessing for Desert Palace, probably?
No, he's trying to grab the heart container. And then maybe continue to Desert? When we find a sword in the Kakariko well. Oh, he didn't get it properly. He's gonna try it again.
We also got red meringue in the well. Ah, now I see how that clip works. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Up until the start of this week, I honestly have not had much experience with Overworld glitches. I honestly still haven't even played this mode. So there's still some new things I'm learning as I'm commentating here.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. Also, this upwards teleport to get the item was recently discovered. There's a way you can do it without getting stuck, but zer0rush did not quite get that and had to save and quit.
Right, so we had a question in chat about the fact that this is Overworld glitches. What essentially is what essentially happens is the logic allows for these boots clips and other sorts of teleports to in the logic in terms of getting around. So what that means in effect is almost all of the light world is pretty much in Sphere 1 at this point. And a lot of the overworld traversal, things are more open because you're just clipping into different places to get around.
I think Jam also soft lock. Oh, never mind, he got it. That's like... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that was what I thought zer0rush was doing, of using that to get into Desert without needing the book. We also had Hammer at the Sick Kid.
We had indeed. And I was trying to say that there's multiple ways to get into Desert from that position, like below the race game. So there was a new one I haven't seen yet. And there are like 5 others that work. So that's pretty amazing.
Gem seeing the Bloomerang in the torch in Desert Palace, deciding not to pick it up, and then gets a small key in the first room in Desert.
Alright, so we got 1 item in Desert already. Gem probably hoping to find some kind of fire source in here, so he might finish it. Because we still need that in Overworld glitches. We can get behind the rocks, but we cannot skip the torches in Desert Palace itself. But yeah, Desert Palace actually is just an extension to the early Kakariko check, so you just start at the Sank, go to your regular checks, and then kind of end your first route in Desert Palace, or like in the desert area in general. And that was our second item in the big chest, only 50 rupees.
And unfortunately, not having a fire source, you can go back to the race game and clip your way into Lammo, but without the fire source, you can't beat him right now, so...
So he's probably gonna finish his route here with the Aghanas Cave and Cave 45. And then things start to get interesting, because at that point, runners always like start their own route, kind of.
Alright, just more bombs from Aghanas Cave. Yeah, from another question in chat about the average time. I mean, to be perfectly honest, this is very dependent on how the routing or how the seed is laid out. I've seen some races where go mode was achieved within an hour. I've seen ones where we're still in searching for items 2 hours in.
It's really, you might think, all right, this is gonna be faster since you can get to places so much quicker. But then again, you always check way more than in a regular seed, like most of the time you do. Because you have so many locations available to you. It's really insane.
I would also add that there's a level of execution in terms of doing all these boots clips, because you're having to be precise in terms of the number of pixels you go into a cliff versus, you know, being able to just do the normal execution you would in the randomizer.
Yeah, that's true. Also, there's some fancy glitches we might see later in this run. If runners fail these, they get stuck, they have to save and quit, they have to do them all over, and some are like really costly. Others are not really, but yeah, we might see some soft locks in here, so...
Alright, both runners are into mini Trolldorm Cave. There's the Moon Pearl. Blue Mail, and another piece of heart. So, In this mode, Moon Pearl is all you need for Dark World access.
Yeah, actually, you unlock most of the Dark World with this. Like almost all Overworld, like Dark World Overworld is unlocked with the Moon Pearl. Gem might be setting up a water walk here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because then he can just conveniently route in the Zora area with this.
Now, he doesn't have enough money for Zora himself, but we should... If zer0rush follows Gem, we will probably see Zora from zer0rush.
I think zer0rush is saving a little bit of time here with like going around and having the water walk for a little bit longer. We see the power globes. And we can actually go and get them if the runners decide to do it. You can just like do a fancy clip and get up on the Lake Hylia item.
Hobo having red mail today, so pretty healthy at this point that we're already at about 8 hearts in red mail.
Yeah, I think that's basically all we need in defense for this seed. Like runners at this level, they probably don't really care about what mail they are on, but having this definitely like helps a lot. Gem also finding out about the power gloves on the island.
Alright, nothing much in Waterfall of Wishing today. And just bombs on the Zora ledge, so Gem is done. But I imagine zer0rush will go see what Zora has for us today. Alright, but there once was a fish named Zora who gives you flippers and vanilla. In Rando, he sucks. For 500 bucks, we did this stupid trek for a 5-arrow upgrade.
So Gem did another downwards teleport here, and then he jumped down to kind of pass the screen transition, which allowed him to dash to the right, and then you bonk. Like you can just dash until you bonk, and then find yourself a spot to transition down, which is almost anywhere along that like bottom line. You can see it on zer0rush's side again, and then you will just like auto walk on the island, and then you can just hop onto it and grab the item.
And very nicely done from both of our runners. Gem now heading up to Sahasrah's closet. Now we got a bottle from the swamp, so if he decides to route in Sick Kid at some point, he already had the bottle. But we'll see if he decides to go into Eastern and finish it off.
I mean, at this point, you're already over here, so you might as well just go and do it with the 8 hearts and red mail. I think it's really easily doable with the for these runners.
And we found the small key in the back of Escape, but nothing much else. But zer0rush is going to go see what's in the sewer chest. All right, 20 bucks so far in Eastern Palace. Now, for those that were asking about how Overworld glitches works, again, the glitches are only in the Overworld. So once you get into caves, once you get into dungeons, you are pretty much following normal randomizer from here.
Yeah. And zer0rush picking up a piece of heart in the Dark Cross. And also maybe noteworthy for new people out there that are watching this. You might think, okay, at one point they get the bow, they get the hookshot, and yes, we can clip into GT very early, do Aga 2, and like unlock the Ganon fight, but we cannot hurt him until we got all 7 crystals. So we still need to do 7 dungeons at least to get the crystals, and then we can go and beat Ganon. So it's still the same, but we can like do some magic to do it maybe faster.
Now we're gonna see zer0rush try to clip up into Death Mountain.
And he's actually gonna clip up into Hera, like right off the bat. So that looks weird. It's a little bit hard to explain, but basically what he did was like messed up his screen, and then he was like, oh god, how do I explain this? And then he could just like jump from the top onto the side of Hera, but his camera was like way off, but he knows where he is at because he's done this like a million times already, at least, I guess. So, and he knows where he needs to go, and then just find the entrance to Hera and go into this. So, yeah.
My understanding, granted, I just have a cheat sheet because again, I haven't run Overworld glitches, but my understanding is that there's a local position. There's a local position on the screen that you're on, but then also there's a global position in the world. And when you get into that state, basically you're messing with the global position where the local position is still as it normally is. And that's where you get all the inconsistencies of walking in places where you shouldn't be walking.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So that kind of makes it look like he's walking through walls, but in fact he's not. Yeah, so it's really as you said, I think.
All right, so zer0rush is rescuing the old man. Gem is about to head into the Armo Snipe fight. And old man giving a cape.
And zer0rush actually getting one of the harder clips here in the first try. So if you mess this up, you softlock, and it's very easy to mess it up. So pretty good job from him getting that as fast and on the first attempt. So you can just like get spin speed, clip through the wall, and then if you have certain inputs while you are jumping down into that dark goo thingy, like that's below the mountain, like you can see it on the down there on the right. You will kind of clip down on top of the graveyard ledge, and you can just jump down and go in the cave. Could also grab King's Tomb from there, but that's not in logic yet, because the game expects us to have mids, but you can kind of clip into a funny place, and then the game just randomly gives you super strength, and then you can pick up the rock and just go into the tomb. So that's also possible.
All right, we have another 5 arrow capacity upgrade in on the floating island, and now we're gonna see Paradox Cave from zer0rush's side.
And Gem looks like he's gonna skip out on the sick hit, which had the hammer for now, which makes perfect sense because he has all of Death Mountain still open and a ton of Light World location, Dark World locations, so he might not want to go to Kakariko Village just for one check. Well, we found the lamp in Paradox Cave.
Alright, so now we got both runners onto Death Mountain.
Gem also gonna get into Hera with the more common way, I guess. You can just get spin speed and walk off that, like, just clip through that bottom ledge, and you're kind of in front of Hera. You just need to go in, and you're in there. It's probably the easiest glitch you do in this, and it's also the most done glitch in this category. Because you go up Death Mountain, you start at the mountain cave like 20 times in one seat. It's amazing.
And the thing is, even if you have the means to get up, even though, it's just faster from what I've seen to do that clip to get up to the portal to go into the Dark World than it would be to just walk the way you normally would.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's really just getting spin speed, and then you can just like walk off, and you're in Hera. So it literally only takes like 10 seconds, maybe, not even.
All right, we got a map check for Dark World. Thieves Town is the other red pendant. Mire is the green pendant. Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock are your 5/6 crystals. Which really means nothing because we can clip into Pyramid Fairy anyway.
We cannot right now though, because we need the mirror to do that. So that's gonna be on hold for a while. We might find it in here. Got some half magic and a green rupee. So,
half magic aside, a whole lot of garbage in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I guess to your point about still needing the mirror to clip into Pyramid Fairy, well, I guess the one saving grace I have on my misspeaking is, well, you need the mirror to get into Swamp Palace, so that kind of saves me, I think, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, Gem checking the Paradox Cave, which we just saw from zer0rush a minute ago. zer0rush deciding to grab the digging game. And then we will see. He has like some options. He could clip up to the Village of Outcasts from here. He could also clip into the Maya area and check the shed. Ooh, and we find the hook shot.
Ooh!
And get a clip into up to Village of Outcasts, I believe that is. So you do. Oh. He should save and quit at this point. Yeah, so he messed that up a little bit, and he got stuck in that wall, like all the way on the right side near Palace of Darkness. And that's actually kind of dangerous, I think. So if you warp, like if you wrap around the entire map, you might like instantly want to save and quit, because if you do wrong movements there, you just like infinite scroll the screen and you soft lock, and you can't even save and quit out of that. So yeah. See Gem doing the Death Mountain descent, where you hop down with the spin speed, which we saw from the Hera clip earlier, and then you kind of transition in another way, so you just auto walk down in front of the Dark Sanctuary, and that puts you in the Dark World. And that also makes the trees look kind of funny, because they are still loaded with the Death Mountain palette.
Meanwhile, with that hookshot, zer0rush went back up to Death Mountain, and now we're going to see Hookshot Cave while Gem heads into Skullwoods area. Ooh, Master Sword in Hookshot Cave. Ooh, Gem didn't line up the bomb jump, but gets it there.
zer0rush getting his silver arrows in the Super Bunny Cave here on the right side. Always nice to find.
And Heart Container and Skullwoods.
We see that the medallion for T-Rogue is Quake, but we might never need this. Really depends on how the key layout in T-Rogue is, I believe. Pretty sure you sometimes need to open it, but most of the times you don't. But maybe I'm wrong on that one.
Alright, and we're gonna see Spike Cave from zer0rush.
Yeah, because Gem was not able to do that. He still needs to go to the Sick Kid and pick up his hammer. Which zer0rush already did, because he routed in the Searcher check very early. That actually might save him a little bit of time here over Gem.
And just 300 bucks in Spike Cave, so if he never goes there, not a problem. We also found a big 20 in Skullwood, so that will do it for the 2 items there. They will still need to kill Mothula for the crystal.
So I like what Chad is suggesting here. Gem could just go and like die in a dungeon, for example. And then if he transitions on the overworld, he's gonna be in the light world. And he could do all these checks and then decide to die in Thieves Town, transition screens, and then check the Sick Kid. It kind of works like a mirror, but you cannot go back from that.
Now, why is that the case?
I have no idea. I just know that it works. I cannot tell you that.
Alright, I'll just accept because reasons.
Yeah, and zer0rush clipped into GT. It's kind of the same way you clip into Tower of Hera. It's a little bit more different, but it's quite like as easy as the Hera clip.
Yeah, we have a Cane of Brian and a small key to start in GT. And there is Gem going into Thieves Town. This is going to be a little tough for zer0rush because not having the fire rod, you're going to have to use the lamp if you want to go through that portion, and that's going to involve some bomb jumps.
Yup. I think he realized. But he's actually going for it. Oh, he set up that top door so he can just fall down after getting the bomb jump to light the torch.
Just has to be careful of the Wall Master. Alright, so Gem got the first 4 items in Thieves Town.
I think we got nothing too interesting in there.
Nope. And instead of dying, he's just gonna walk out.
I mean, it's kind of understandable. He still got the digging game, Stumpy, and Hype Cave to check versus Sick Kid and maybe K45, not K45, the checkerboard cave. So I think he did not do K45, and zer0rush actually gets the bomb jump here.
Now just gotta hurry and get the last 2 torches lit and get through the door. Alright, doors open.
Oh no!
Oh!
And Gem grabbing his hookshot. Let's see where he goes next. If he decides to check the Maya Shed real quick or just leave that for now.
Looks like he's just going for Stumpy and Hype Cave. All right, gets it on the second go. All right, just avoid the shooter, and nicely done.
Gem about to grab his half magic here in Hype Cave, and while we see 4 new checks from zer0rush here on the right side. Which we know are not in logic yet, since we haven't found the fire rod. And we get powder. But apart from powder, nothing really too useful in there.
Nope. zer0rush deciding to still go full right side, so we will see Ice Armos shortly after Bob's chest.
And depending on where the big key is, we might actually also see the big chest from zer0rush here on the right side. What Gem is doing right now, he's doing a downward teleport to get like stuck in the wall. And then he kind of has to wiggle the left, down, and right inputs. And the game tries to set him into a position where he can stand without being stuck, but it fails to do it. And it just happens that he gets pushed to the right a little bit further every way.
And there's the ice rod.
Yo, nice find by zer0rush there. But yeah, getting pushed to the right there makes Gem able to transition. Oh god, transition screens, and then he can just hop onto that conveniently placed bridge to go over to the right side of Death Mountain. That works in both the light world and the dark world.
And right there is an example of where Overworld glitches really plays around with the logic, because Ice Rod is needed for Turtle Rock in order to kill Trinex, which is a crystal, but because you can clip into Ganon's tower before getting all 7 crystals, you gotta go into Ganon's tower to get the Ice Rod, to then go to Turtle Rock to get one of the crystals to open up Ganon's tower.
We might actually... Go ahead.
Sorry, speaking of which, Gem is going into Turtle Rock.
And I was about to say, we might actually see a zer0rush finishing GT here. Found his Tempered Sword and the Quake Medallion in the Stealth House room. Because we got everything we want to finish GT.
Yeah, and to your earlier point about you may still need to use a medallion for Turtle Rock based on key layout. Well, there's a Quake Medallion to do it. And there's the GT big key.
Yeah, but we're still continuing to search for items in here. Because we, like, for all we know, Fire Rod might be here on the left side. We might also find the mirror, and I think we are pretty much almost in go mode at this point.
I saw a race a couple days ago where the mirror was in the GT big chest. And yeah, it cost Elminster his tournament because of that, of missing that.
Yeah, that's just one of the locations you forget about in this mode, and also in entrance or other wacky modes, because you never check that in a regular rando. But yeah, it looks like we don't need the Quake Medallion, so Jim can just go to the front here and grab his big key.
Alright, so GT big chest aside, that's it for the basement. And to your earlier point, I wouldn't be surprised if we see zer0rush go up to the gauntlet. Because as someone was asking in chat, you can beat Aga 2 right now, but without all 7 crystals, once you get Ganon to phase 4, he will be invincible at this point. It's something that is coded into the randomizer. So just because we beat Aga 2, zer0rush will still have to get all 7 crystals, and Butter Sword in the big chest.
Yo, that's a pretty good find here from zer0rush. Got all 4 swords at the 34-minute mark. I would say that's pretty quick. And also doing GT right now makes a lot of sense for zer0rush, because we have never been to the Pyramid Ledge or the port area in general, so he might want to do that right after this. Because you get thrown off on the pyramid, and you can just like go over and do the other stuff I just mentioned.
All right, so at this point, we need the fire rod for go mode. I believe we need the mirror.
Yes, because we need to get into Swamp Palace.
And I think that's it, because there is a way to mirror clip into Ice Palace. There's a shovel in Turtle Rock. So you can mirror clip in there and not need the Titan's Mitts to get in through the portal. And then from there, you've got the Power Glove to lift the blocks in Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's correct. The thing is, though, that Ice Palace is not in logic without the mitts, but we don't care about that. If we're in go mode and we don't have the mitts, we just mirror clip in this, or mirror wrap, to be more precise. I'm pretty sure both of these runners know how to do it. It's a little bit of a weird thing, but I really hope we get to see it.
Meanwhile, that shovel that Gem picked up in Turtle Rock, he's about to go strike the earth and get a piece of heart.
Yeah, he's probably go over to the checkerboard cave. I think we also haven't seen Cave 45 from him yet. And then he might go and finish Desert, since he's already over at this place.
He also needs to go see Sick Kid and get that hammer.
Oh yeah, I really hope he does this after Desert Palace. Because I think that actually limits him in his options at the moment.
But he's gonna clip, which I imagine would be Checkerboard Cave next.
Yeah.
And just a 10 arrow upgrade in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, this is probably the way back up on the mountain. Oh, he was like 1 pixel too far to the left. So he got an upwards teleport. So he needed to move 1 more pixel into the wall to get up on that ledge he was like trying to clip into. Then he could have just jumped down on the back of Desert Palace and go in there.
Alright. Those, trying to get those torches with the lamp is treacherous, but zer0rush got it. And we'll be momentarily heading into Trolldorm 2 before killing Trolldorm 1.
Yeah, we might actually find the fire rod or the mirror here in this last chest. I've seen that a couple of times, so that's always fun to see.
Well, down goes... Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile, we see Gem going down to Catfish, but... Oh, he got it. Alright, I think that he didn't get it. So it's kind of the same what we did for the Death Mountain Descent. It just auto-walks you down all the way to where you can stand, I guess. And then you can just go to the left, throw your skull in, and get 20 rupees.
And zer0rush is about to begin the Geometry Wars.
And Gem, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to go over to Pod without the hammer in hand. We know which is that Sick Kid. That's not good for him.
Alright. Down goes Aga 2.
So we might see a high five on the pyramid here from both of these players in the moment.
One in the normal state and one in a glitchy Dark Death Mountain state.
That was the Bomber's Medallion.
Yes, it was. And unfortunately, Gem runs away before zer0rush can give him a high five.
Yeah. So, really thinking back, zer0rush's play to Sarshula, like first off, paid off huge in this seed. Just because it had a bottle and he was able to check Sick on his first trip to the village and get the hammer, which Gem still has not checked yet. But he also had no real reason to go there, since it's kind of a one-off location at this point. You can check so much other stuff that has more items and like a more denser location, so it really makes sense to not go there.
Alright, but both of our runners are going to be going into pod. Unfortunately, to your point, zer0rush is the only one with the hammer, so zer0rush will actually be able to full clear this, while Gem will unfortunately be heading out once finishing up everything but Helmasaur.
So at this point, where do you expect our last items to be? We still got like all of Pod open, which we are in right now. We got Misery Maya and the Shed open. We also, I think, still got the back of Thieves Town. So these are like the main locations at this point.
I'm doing my thinking motion right now.
Alright.
Depending on what we find in pod.
Ooh, and zer0rush is actually doing the hover here to the chest.
It gets stuck though, unfortunately. I think Meyer is where I go. Now that I've had some time to think about it, because we've seen most of the items in Thieves Town, which is not much. And at this point, I would probably be heading for Meyer, because Fire Rod's kind of blocking a lot of... Fire Rod's blocking Skullwoods. We didn't see much in Turtle Rock. Like, at this point, like, I'm starting to get the feelings of a potential pedestal seed, and I would want to know if Meyer is technically full clearable at this point.
Alright, that sounds fair. What do I choose then? I guess I'm kind of on the side of Chad here. I want to find mids in here, so we get access to Ice Palace, which kind of like negates the mirror rep, which I really want to see. But with that mirror in hand, we need to grab the Fire Rod from the Pyramid Fairy. That's what I want.
We should point out we did miss Miss Badgering did give us a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much. Your subs and bit support is what makes this channel and all these races possible. So thank you to all of you.
So I haven't seen anything of value yet in pod.
I mean, $5, that's value, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would pick them up like any day, but I think our runners are not too happy. Sitting at almost 1,000 rupees here, that adds to their lag counter. Actually, the game calculates your rupee count every single frame, and if you had very high rupee amounts, like some rooms lag really, really bad. So did zer0rush not check that one chest, which fortunately had the map? Or maybe
zer0rush is also setting up a death warp. We see Gem trying to set up a hammer yump. I think he's... There he goes. He's got it right there. And it just has a heart container anyway. And here's where the high five is. Oh, and that heart container is going to make it a little bit tougher in terms of trying to do that death warp. But by 1 heart, and the Kodongos, he's just going to bomb himself or get hit by the Kodongo fire.
Yeah, so zer0rush is probably going to finish Pod, while Gem is still running around looking for that hammer, which we know is at Sickit. And he's gonna go for the Uncle Checks 45 minutes into the game. Also not a rare sight in this mode. Maybe heading into Hyrule Castle after this.
I was gonna say, we've seen the back of Escape, but we haven't seen the front of Escape yet, right?
Yeah.
And Gem is going to show us what's in the front of Escape.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure if he wants to see some progression piece in here or not, so he can get the hammer quicker. But he also kind of needs to, you know, find a good item to, yeah, get back to zer0rush in some way. But that might also lead him astray.
I think in some ways it depends on what the item is. Like if it's Titan's Mitts, that would get you access to Ice Palace, but also would give you access to the Smith's Chain and Gary's lunchbox, which you can't clip those, but you know, Titan's Mitts could lead you that way, where Fire Rod would lead you back to Skullwoods, back to Turtle Rock. So actually, in a weird sort of way, both of those things lead you back to the Village of Outcasts. So just ignore the talking idiot.
Let's see what Hammersaw got for us today. Meanwhile, on the left side, we see the map. That was an anticlimactic.
And a just as anticlimactic 5-bomb upgrade from Helmasaur.
That's a really... looks like progression will be in the Maya area. We got Hammer Pack still on zer0rush side, and I think 1 item in Tower of Hera. And the back of Thieves' Town, but that's about it.
Yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about I'd be making a play for Meyer at this point, because at this point the only completable dungeons we have are 2 pendant ones, and I'd want to know if that 3rd one is even accessible at this point.
Yeah, that's also worth mentioning. We cannot skip the Maya medallion in this mode, no matter what. We still have not found a glitch to do that. People are working on that, but I think we might hit a dead end there anytime soon. So, if it's Ether, we cannot get into Maya.
Alright, so Gem heads back up to Death Mountain. And I'm gonna go back into the Dark World, because this is his only way in without that hammer. Gonna descend Death Mountain. Meanwhile, zer0rush, well, I thought was about to go.
Oh,
Oh, he hasn't been into desert at all. That's why he's routing it the way he's routing it.
Yeah, I think we only saw Gem do it after the Kakariko checks. And zer0rush actually avoided it. It looks like Gem decides to finish up Thieves Town here.
Yeah, we know he's already been in here and seen the first 4 chests.
Yeah, I have to agree with the chat here. So Jim really wants to find the mirror in here. That would save his day. I mean, maybe not necessarily save it, but that's like a big step for him.
Chad also pointing out, though, at this point, the hammer hasn't really hurt Gem, except for the fact that he will have to double dip Pod to beat Helmastar because he had to go out, whereas zer0rush has completed Pod. But other than that, there really hasn't been any progression behind the hammer just yet. And
well, that's our, yeah. So that means we know where all the medallions are. With the Quake medallion in GT left side, I believe it was, in the Selphos room, and Ether in Thieves Town. So we can enter Misery Mire no matter what. Like, these players maybe can, but we technically could. So Maya really looking good right now. Your guess might actually be correct.
Wait, I got something right for once?
Maybe, we don't know yet. I mean, there's still an item left in Thieves Town, I believe, so...
Alright, there's the compass. Is there a reason Gem's forgetting to go to the big chest?
Yeah, because he still don't has the hammer to hammer down the pegs.
Oh, right. Duh.
Yeah, you easily forget about that. And he kind of hopes to find the item on blind and that it's mirror. Like, he doesn't know that, but he secretly wishes it. Like, if mirror's in that one chest in Thieves Town, Gem is not having fun.
Alright, well, moment of truth. It's a 5-arrow upgrade, that's the item, and the pendant, so he won't have to go back for the big chest.
So, Gem seems like he's on his way to Misery Mire. Or at least the Mire area in general. So you kind of do the same clip that you do to get into Desert, but just in the Dark World, and then you get stuck in that wall, you can jump left onto the mountain, and then you're over in the Mire area. And this will maybe hurt your eyes a little bit now, because the game tries to load the rain animation, but since we have the regular Dark World Overworlds palette loaded, it fails to do it, and that's what happens.
And we got Vanilla Ether for Mire, which was in Thieves Town.
So that's actually good for Gem, if progression is in Misery Mire. But there is progression.
In the Titan's midst. And now that the rain is loaded back up, Gem is going to go ahead and head into Mire. Meanwhile, zer0rush is going to head into Eastern Palace. In fact, I was going to comment earlier, I think in Eastern there's 3 big 20s for the 3 items.
Yeah, I've seen 2. I don't know what the last item was.
It was a big 20 on Armos Nights.
Oh, alright. But yeah, I honestly don't know if Gem wanted to see the Titesmiths, because then that kind of leads him into ice maybe, without the hammer as well. So that might be 2 dungeons he did without the hammer that he has to come back to. So we really hope he finds the mirror in here and maybe for some mysterious reason goes and check the sick kit. Or actually the fire rod would be nice in this case, I think. Because that might lead him up to Skywoods, and with the mids in hand, he can check the sick kit and then hop into the Dark World.
I'm still thinking, especially, all right, blue goo there. I'm still thinking we may have a pedestal seat on our hands.
I mean, that's definitely still possible. We can clear Hera, we can clear this now. We already cleared T-Town, so we have no idea what's on pedestals since we don't have the book. Nobody has been near that yet. So how about Mirror on Pad and Fire Rod on the Pyramid Ferry?
That could be something. Without the fire rod, Gem's gonna have to do this the long way.
zer0rush, meanwhile, on his way to the Armor Knights here on the right side. About to get his last big 20 in this dungeon. And then we're looking at 1 crystal for Gem versus 3 crystals for zer0rush. But Gem is in his like 3rd dungeon as well. And if this is a pedestal seed, like we're even on dungeon counts, but zer0rush has finished GT, which Gem did not have yet.
And the thing is, you're gonna have to do GT. Well, I was about to say you're gonna have to do GT in order to finish Turtle Rock, but the thing is, Gem already did a dip into Turtle Rock, so the only time Gem's going back there is in order to beat Trinex.
Yeah, that's pretty quick since you can just mirror wrap over to the laser bridge, and you're like immediately near the boss. So that doesn't lose that much time. It's just him going through T-Rock without getting any value. That's what costs time. But so did zer0rush actually in GT. I think there was not much in there apart from the Ice Rod and maybe the sword upgrades. Maybe I can't remember if there was 2 in there.
There were 2. There was 1 in the Stalfos room. There was 1 in the GT big chest.
All right. So yeah, no spooky action in this mode, since we don't flute over to the my area. Cannot set that variable which we need to set in order to perform the spooky action glitch.
In fact, I think Gem didn't even do right side of
Misery Maya?
Misery Maya, yeah, I mean, granted, those are 2 completely unrelated statements, but he's gambling Viddy, and then probably will come back in if he hasn't found the 2nd item.
Yeah, I believe so as well, because he kind of wants to defeat the boss for the green pennant at this point, because he's running out of options very soon. So I think that's a good play on his part. Meanwhile, zer0rush is in the front of his cape.
Oh, chat pointing out we've already found the 2 items. Oh, right, I did see the bomb upgrade, but I missed it. All right.
So I just thought about something that might be a little bit funny, maybe not. What if the next piece of progression is in the King's Tomb, which we could have checked way earlier. Like actually at the start of the game we could have gone there, but both runners decided to not do it.
Yeah, but to your point, it's the logic doesn't account for that, right?
Yeah, that's correct, but it's really only like 30 seconds. You just hop down and save and quit, and it's really quick.
All right.
So, and I've seen like having like Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb having go mode a couple of times, but we only from the Greek Pendant out of Misery Map, we only got a big 20. So Gem really hoping for that Palace at this point, and it's not looking too bad.
I think that's what he's gambling, because he's just going, I imagine he's going right for Hera now.
Yeah.
Or was going right for Hera. Oh, this might be GT.
It is GT, indeed. We can only do not very much at this point. Can grab the key on the torch and check tie room in logic, and let's see if Gem decides to do the bomb jump on the right side as well, or if he just decides to go upstairs and defeat Aga while he can. I mean, there's 4 chests upstairs, so that's probably not a bad play.
And speaking of which, the powder, which was on that right side, which is out of logic without the fire rod, we're about to see if that pays off from the magic bat. Nope, just a bottle of red goo. So now the question is zer0rush setting up? I imagine this is probably for Skullwoods and or Thieves Town. Whoa!
Okay, that's very unfortunate for zer0rush.
Wow!
So this is kind of an awkward situation, but that might actually lead Gem back to the sick hit.
This race just swung in a hurry. Cause I don't know when zer0rush has beat Aga 2. I don't know when he's going back.
Yeah, that's really the issue here for zer0rush. I just remember when he was about to enter the right side and wanted to say that we see tie room in this mode way more than in the regular mode. But then he skipped that, so I skipped out on like my little tags I prepared, and I forgot that he never went back for this. So that's actually huge for Gem at this point.
Man, was GT loaded? Kane of Brian, both fire and ice rods.
2 swords.
Yeah. Upgrades. I mean, well, at this point, this race really just comes down to where's the mirror.
Yep, and who's gonna find the other item first? It's both are kind of off for each player. But I believe Gem has like more reason to check Sickit than zer0rush has to go back into tie room.
And Gem decides to nope out after getting both a fire and ice rod. Which, Knowing what we know is all in GT, that's gonna pay off a little bit, because the big key was still on the left side.
So Gem might go ahead and finish T-Rock, which is maybe not the best play without the mirror in hands. But, I mean, he knows he can't do it. Maybe he needs like a little break to think about stuff for a minute. So why not just go ahead and do it, I guess.
That makes sense.
Meanwhile, that's Zero's first trip to the village of Outcasts here on the right side. Because we stopped that digging game when he came from the bottom, and we never came back here.
Oh, Antisim in chat brought up a good point. Without the hammer, Gem can't do left side GT.
That is correct, yeah.
Wait, did you mention that before? I might have missed that.
No, I did not. I did. I think I did not. But yeah, I'm just a bit surprised that we don't see Gem going to either Skywoods or maybe Ice Palace with the mids and the Fire Rod in hand. But instead decides to check that one item here on Trinex. If he even has an item left, he does only have the compass left, so... I would have just saved this for very late with the mirror wrap.
Well, with just finding the Fire Rod, we still haven't seen the two chests that are in the right side of
the front of GT? Yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct, actually.
Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. You are correct, actually.
Oh, hey, what do you know?
The issue is, though, Gem has not opened T-Rock, so after this fight, he will get stuck in the head of Turtle Rock, like in the head of the entrance. So he cannot conveniently get back into the front of T-Rock.
But the compass was on Trinex.
So yeah, we... Oh, you can get back in there? Alright, I did not know that. Maybe... Huh. That's definitely interesting. But yeah, anyway, Gem is gonna head over and check these two chests on the right side, while zer0rush is gonna grab his Ether Medallion, which we know by now probably does not hold any progression in Misery Mire. So Gem might actually feel behind at this point, having done the Thieves Town and Misery Mire check. Ooh, and there's a mirror.
Oh, that is not good for zer0rush. That is not good at all.
When we got Book in the Thieves Town big chest. So this seed actually took a big turn.
Yeah, that pretty much means Pedestal's dead.
So Gem with his check from the tie room looks way better at this point. than he was doing like 5 minutes ago. He still needs to grab that hammer from Sickit though.
See if that's where he heads.
So he's going to that direction at least.
If this is a sick kid check, this is gonna set up real nice for Gem because he can just go mode swamp and ice.
It looks like it is a sick kid check.
Yep, so once Gem talks to the sick boy at 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 40 seconds, Gem is officially in go mode.
That's actually not a bad time to be in go mode. Because as we mentioned earlier, this mode is very like you get very different times. Like sometimes you end the seed in like 120. Sometimes you are still in this after like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And being in go mode at 1 hour and 10 minutes, I think that's kind of good. When it looks like zer0rush falls for the exact same bait that Gem took earlier. Heads over to Misery Mire. Might also go into Misery Mire. Oh, I think that's actually the red YBA to grab the Smith. Which I have not really seen yet. I just know that it exists.
It looks like he...
Yeah, so he needs to like drink the red potion and transition screens at the same frame. And it looks like he might have failed to do that.
I think he already drank.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have no idea what's happening right now, but we can just somehow grab the frog, save and quit, and turn it in.
Yeah, I have no idea what just happened there.
Pretty sure some people in chat can explain that way better than I can. I just know that red YBAs do some weird stuff. That's all I can add to this.
All I can add to this is that was a very clean Mothula fight from Gem, and that's crystal number 3 for him. And we're about to see a Bombos Tablet Jeremiah World Tour.
I think I've never seen that before. Get a shield from that.
Yeah, Fisher Price, my first shield.
Apparently not only the players can clip into walls and all that, the Smith can as well. That's interesting.
Alright, looks like Swamp Palace is next up for Gem.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, because you can conveniently go over to Ice Palace after this. Even go over to Pod after Ice Palace. And Desert is kind of out of the way, but you can just go there from Link's House really quick and finish off GT to, yeah, kind of vanilla drop into the Ganon fight, I guess.
It's possible. Well, Gem still has to do Desert and Pod.
And the problem for zer0rush really is that he has to, like, he really needs to go back into GT, check that tile room to get his fire out. Then grab his mirror from the right side T-Rock.
Yeah, the problem is that zer0rush has literally done everything else he can do in GT. He's checked the big chest, he's run the gauntlet. Like, Tile Room is literally the only thing he hasn't done in GT.
I think he's going back in, like, into the my area now. So that, like, we already did see the Smith YBA, so that's probably gonna be the Maya check here. So I wonder if he forgot about it, or if he's like, okay, maybe I can skip it. Also, with these mids in hands, he might go over to Ice Palace and full clear that before going into Tyroom. He's deciding to skip out on Misery Mile, which we know is a good thing to do. So let's see where zer0rush is headed. Meanwhile, Gem on the left side, checking that one chest on the way. Probably hoping for another sword, but only gets the Swamp Palace Compass in here, because we know the two swords that zer0rush already has are in GT, in the Stalfos room and in the big chest itself.
Alright, and Gem is into Argus.
And that looks like an Ice Palace play from zer0rush. I mean, it makes sense from his point of view, but we know it's not the correct play. So not only losing time with full clearing Ice Palace most likely, also he has to use Bombos in there instead of the Fire Rod, which always takes the time to cast this little animation we are seeing right now. So Gem actually not deciding to do the mirror up over to Ice Palace. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I can understand it, because there's like a high risk of getting the infinite scroll, and you can save and quit out of that, and that would like ruin his day for the Swamp Palace crystal.
And at this point, you're in go mode. You know you're in go mode. You feel like you're behind. Don't take any risks.
Yeah, and it only saves like a couple of seconds over going over the regular way, so probably the smarter choice.
Now, Gem is gonna go mode Ice. Unfortunately, zer0rush is gonna full clear it. So I think the real question at this point is, I mean, barring some sort of cataclysmic event, when is zer0rush gonna go back to GT and check Tile Room? Because at this point, he's got the rest of Ice Palace, he's got Mire, he hasn't gone into Turtle Rock yet, so he's got at least those 3 dungeons. Hera as well. Like,
he also got the hammer packs and the purple chest now that he found the mids. So that might distract him a little bit more. But yeah, I think at this point it's kind of safe to say that it's Gem's race to lose it. Gem is about to enter his cold step fight with the Meister Sword in hand. Not the nicest fight, but half magic as well makes it like way easier.
Plus red mail, cold stare hugs won't do as much damage. He does manage to get cold stare in the corner for a little bit, and nicely done, Gem.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Meanwhile, we saw zer0rush hover on the right side in that little ice flow room to the right of the ice tea room. So really good showing from both of these runners.
And I imagine that swim is up to Pod next.
Yeah, I guess. There's a clip you can do in front of Ice Road Cave that puts you up to Eastern Palace. I'm not sure if Gem is familiar with that, so it might just be safer to walk up here, since it's kind of the same as the Ice Palace mirror wrap. You have like a risk of soft locking if you don't know exactly what you're doing, and going safe here is definitely the right choice. So I'm not too sure if it saves any time at all, but it looks good. Yeah, meanwhile we see zer0rush here on the right side in Ice Palace, not finding anything. So it really depends, like, when does zer0rush go back into GT to check that tie room?
I mean, it could be a while. I mean, he's still got 2 dungeons on the table, 3 technically with Hera. It's just, yeah, I just don't know when he goes, if he's even, there's even probably a question of, has he even realized that he missed tile room?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, we will probably see a pedestal pull before he goes back into tile room. I mean, I hope he did not forget about it, because that would be a tragedy at this point.
And with Butter Sword, 3 slashes and cold stares down for zer0rush.
Jim getting a bit unlucky there with the turtle RNG, but still gets it done very nicely. He's about to head into his Hammersaw fight. And this might be the hammer pegs and purple chest checks here from zer0rush.
Alright, crystal number 6 for Gem.
Yeah, with that in hand, he's gonna go over to Desert Palace now. probably saving quick before doing so, and then we are doing like kind of a vanilla feeling GT climb, still searching the big key on Gem's side here, and then head into the Ganon fight. And zer0rush on the right side is about to show us what's inside Garrett's lunchbox. We have not seen that yet.
Just a big 20.
That's like the 20th big 20 we saw in this seed already. Looks like zer0rush is on his way back to Misery Mire. I've never seen this clip, but I believe he's trying to do a downwards teleport to get up on that thing with the 2 stones, and then like just do the traditional lift up the rock and go into the Dark World.
All right. Textbook Lammo 1 fight, I should say. And that is crystal number 7. So, there are 22 locations where the Ganon's Tower Big Key can be in the basement of Garen's Tower. Too bad we already know that it's in the Firebar room, so, yeah, sorry, guys.
I was about to do the exact same thing. So yeah, since we can clip into GT very early in this mode, and we already saw the big key on zer0rush's side, there's no need to play the guessing game. I know you guys like it, but not today. Jam is about to do his last glitch of this night. Because clipping into GT is surely way faster than going around and sitting through the very long opening animation, actually.
And now with Hammer in tow, we'll do left side GT. He'll probably get the Tempered Sword from the Staphos room, but I imagine once he finds the big key in the Firebar room, he's gonna mirror out and not go all the way for the Butter Sword, which is in the GT big chest.
Yeah. So yeah, really what looked like zer0rush's game for the most part of this run, with his early Sarshala getting him the bottle, like that turned around very, very quickly, with Gem just finding the fire out in the tire room.
I mean, it turned in probably the most catastrophic way possible.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of all the places where the mirror could be, it had to be in the one place where you can only use torches, or the fire rod to light the torches, because it's in Turtle Rock.
But I'm not even sure if zer0rush wanted to find the mirror before the fire rod, because that would have just opened like way more locations where the fire rod, like that would have just delayed his visit to Tire Room way more than fire rod being in there. I hope that made any sense what I just said. So yeah, Gem entering his gauntlet here with the lag arrows.
But yeah, I mean, this race swung so fast because for so long we kept talking like, Gem skipped Sick Kid. When is Gem gonna go back to Sick Kid? When is Gem gonna go back to Sick Kid? And then all of a sudden, oh wait, we entirely forgot that zer0rush never did Tile Room, and that's where the Fire Rod is.
It really looked like Maya had the progression at that point, but then like when Gem got out there and there was nothing really left at this point. But yeah, I really believe after this race, zer0rush is probably gonna always check the Tile Room on his first visit. So he does not I mean, we don't even know if he just forgot about it or if he like purposely skipped that. So that's gonna be interesting to find out. But yeah, he's about to enter his Vitreous fight. Meanwhile, Gem on the left side, lighting his torches in GT. Manages to not despawn the sprites up here.
Meanwhile, zer0rush has Vitreous down.
And heads back into Misery Mire. I think he did not find the second item in here yet.
HK112 asking how does that despawn the tower? It's a glitch where if you go up right as the door is closing, it despawns all of the enemies in GT, including Aga 2, and you gotta start all the way from the beginning.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is mirror out and do the entire climb again.
Alright, should be one more to go. There it is. Down goes Aga 2 for Gem, and it is time for the big pig.
zer0rush cashing in his green pendant only gets a big 20. Slowly running out of locations here. Gem getting a very nice 1+1 cycle here on Ganon.
And phase 3.
The Ether tablet here on zer0rush's side, which is only a piece of heart.
Ganon not really cooperating with all the teleports. Alright, phase 4.
zer0rush on the right side actually forgot that he still has to grab the big key in the basement.
Alright, Gem got a double, and then 2 singles, and that will do it. Just avoid the gap, and Gem has this race won. And with that entrance into the door, Gem finishes with an official SRTB time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 17 seconds. Spam those GGs in chat.
Yeah, that was a really, really good job. I think we already got Gem in the other channel for like ready for an interview, and there he is.
Gem, GG to you.
Thanks.
Can you turn your mic up just a little bit?
I don't know. I think I already put it to max. Never mind. This better?
Right, yeah, we may have to turn the volume down on zer0rush's audio. All right, so I gotta tell you, Gem, for the longest time, we kept saying in chat, when is Gem gonna go back for the hammer at Sick Kid? When is Gem gonna go back for the hammer at Sick Kid? When is Gem gonna... Holy crap, did we miss the fire rod and tile room?
Yes, so what happened, unfortunately, your opponent did all of GT way earlier than you did, because he found the hammer at Sick Kid after he kind of did Sarshala's Hut first and got a bottle out of that, and that allowed him to route in the Sick Kid on his very first trip to the village. And he just... We are not sure if he just forgot about the tile room or if he like purposely skipped that. But that was like the turning point of this race. You finding the fire rod and then the mirror right after, that put you back into the lead, like very far ahead.
Yeah, that's the thing entrance shuffle teaches you. Never skip tile room. it's not the first time I found fire rod there.
When you finally found, because there was a while you were going down the pendant path with Thieves Town and then into Misery Mire. Once you found Fire Rod in GT, like, did you feel like you were behind at that point?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I mean, there was a chance he also did pendants, because going to GT for just like 4 locations, of which 2 are probably keys, is not really the best idea, I think. But I think it's still better going there before doing TT or Mire. So I felt pretty behind. Once I found the hammer at Sick Kid, that's when I felt like I lost. Yeah, because if I had just found it like way early, I would have been in GT like half an hour earlier probably, and then had go mode, and the season would have been pretty free.
Yeah, that's pretty much what zer0rush did. So he was really, you could see that he kind of had an edge on you with that. But I believe if he would not have forgotten or like skipped tile room, that might have been rough for you. So really, really lucky on your side, and very unlucky on zer0rush's side here.
Yeah, kind of sucks to win by luck, but well, it's rando, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to everyone, so zer0rush knows that, and we all know that. So you guys, this is a best of 3 series, right? And it's only 1 win for you at this point. So zer0rush has some potential to make up for this.
Yeah. Hopefully the next match will be more even, without silly mistakes.
Yeah, speaking of silly mistakes, I think we only saw each of you soft log once or something. Like, there haven't been many soft logs in this one. Which you kind of expect in Overworld glitches, that there's a lot of like failed clips and all that going on, but you guys did a really good job doing that.
Yeah, I was pretty satisfied with my clips. Yeah, I kind of need to learn how to get up to desert from checkerboard because I think that's possible. I think that's why I saw. Did I soft lock there? No. I think I just didn't make it.
Yeah, you did an upwards teleport on that one, so you were literally just 1 pixel off to get on the ledge, and then you could have just did the same thing you did in the very end and like walk on top and hop down to Desert Palace.
Yeah, it would have been a nice little time save if I knew how to do that, but oh well.
So I have another question, or maybe two that are kind of in the same way. After Swamp Palace, you went over to Ice, and I'm pretty sure you know how to do the mirror up. Did you decide against it because it has like the infinite scroll potential, and you did not want to risk that?
Yeah, it was because of that.
All right, and
I know how to do it, but in a race, if I don't have to, I usually don't.
All right, and kind of the same question for after Ice Palace. There's a clip from Ice Rock Cave that gets you over, like up to the portal below Eastern Palace. So again, the question: do you know how to do that? And was it the same reason why you decided to not do it?
That clip, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I thought you might not do it because it also has a chance of soft locking you.
Yeah, if it has a chance, then I might not even do it if I knew how to do it. But yeah, I don't know the clip, so that was the reason.
Meanwhile, zer0rush had a little bit of trouble in the maze of Turtle Rock, now on Laser Bridge, and we'll see where zer0rush decides to go from here. Not happy with not finding anything in Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, we know. Unfortunately, the mirror is in that fire rod locked room. But he's gonna go dig up the shovel spot, and we know that that's just a piece of heart.
Yeah, I think we are pretty much running out of locations on his side. So, Jem, do you have any thoughts on that seed? Did you find like there was a nice seed in general? Did you think you played it good? Maybe do you think you played it really bad with that late Sickit check and all that?
I actually was planning, like after my last Overworld Glitches seed, to do early Sasha from now on. But it's been so long, so I just kind of forgot. So I went to CAG first, and yeah, in retrospect, I kind of regret that I forgot about that. Because that would have saved probably like half an hour on the seed. Well, maybe not that much, but yeah.
It definitely would have saved some time.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the point where I would start hyping up chat for the pedestal poll. Unfortunately, because of Jem's credit scene, we know that this is a certain significant arrow that zer0rush is about to pull off of it. Not the pointy object he was looking for. Alright, so now we'll see where zer0rush goes. Does he finally decide to go back to Ganon's tower?
I think that's pretty much the only location left up here that he can visit. So we are looking good to find that fire rod. Oh, maybe not. I think we never saw catfish on zer0rush's side.
We did see it. Jem did get it. We know it's a big 20.
Yeah, but zer0rush did not get it, so he might do that now and then see wherever he goes, I guess.
But yeah, that looks like that is what he's setting up. Is he's gonna descend Death Mountain here and go check what the catfish has, which we know is not much.
I mean, it's red, but it's not the right item. And at this point, it kind of looks like zer0rush might have forgotten about Tie Room. Or maybe he realized, okay, that's my last location. I should not have skipped that.
Well, he's going in the portal, so that probably means he is about to go back into GT and is about to get a rude awakening.
Yeah, that's definitely the GT clip here. Yeah, while we're waiting here for zer0rush to finish his Tie Room, Gem, do you have any plans of, you know, practicing until tomorrow's match, or do you think, okay, this should work somehow? Maybe. Do you feel comfy going into this?
Well, I hope it'll work out.
All right, so you're still not planning to practice.
Well, I might look up the trick or two. Yeah, as I said, that one to get up on the ledge from checkerboard is definitely something I want to look up.
All right.
Yeah, no, otherwise I'll just keep going like I always have in this tourney and hope it works out.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like now that zer0rush has finally found the fire rod, he has decided to forfeit the race at this point. So we'll see if we can get zer0rush in here for an interview. But still, props to him for, you know, sticking it out as long as he did and at least finding where that fire rod was.
Yeah, so at this point, I might want to believe that he just forgot where he was. Like, not forgot, that he just, like, decided to skip over it. And yeah, because it didn't take him too long to go back and grab it. It was really just very unfortunate.
See if we can get him in here. And joining us in chat is zer0rush. GG.
Good games.
GG.
So I have to tell you, zer0rush, the whole time you got early hammer, and we kept saying, when's Gem gonna get the hammer? When's Gem gonna get the hammer? When's Gem gonna wait to fire out of his entire room?
Yeah, that's not a good location to have an item when you skip it, because there's no reason to ever go back there. I mean, it doesn't take long to get there, but it takes a while to do so.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know if you've heard, but the mirror actually was in the fire rod locked portion of Turtle Rock. Like, it was in the one place. You still need the fire rod to get it.
Yeah, the only locations left in the game were back of Skull Woods and front of Turtle Rock that Fire Rod would have unlocked. If Tower Room was mirror, then Fire Rod would have had to have been Pedestal, I'm pretty sure. Or not Pedestal, Pyramid, but yeah, you know, sometimes you go into Ganon's Tower at 30 minutes missing 2 items and then skip 1 location and check 120 others. That's rando.
So my question is, did you skip that on purpose, or was it more like an accident and then you remembered later and you were like, yeah, I kind of don't want to go back into GT just for Tyroom, so I will try to skip it.
Yeah, I skipped it on purpose just because so much other stuff was open. And I kind of full cleared Light World. And so I didn't want to, you know, spend an extra couple minutes doing Tower Room and be farther behind if Gem skipped it or Gem, you know, maybe didn't do Ganon's Tower, because there wasn't a whole lot in Ganon's Tower, just the Ice Rod, I'm pretty sure, and swords, obviously, but... So I skipped it and never went back.
Yeah, I mean, you had no reason to come back. Once you decide to skip that, it's gone forever, I guess.
Yeah, so it's kind of unfortunate. I don't know when Gem finally got it, but I'm sorry from a viewer perspective, because that's one of those locations where it's like, oh, he skipped it and it had the Fire Rod. The game's over because you're never going back there. It's like skipping Left Side Swamp and not having progression when you have like 4 other dungeons to do.
Yeah, I mean, at that point when Gem found the Fire Rod, it was kind of over, I guess. But up until that point, it was really like us asking when Gem is gonna check that sick kit for Hammer, and like you guys were kind of even, I guess, since Gem did not really lose that much time going around and searching for stuff. Up until the point where he did all of Thieves Town and then like went into Misery Maya like straight after because he found the Ether Medallion, and yeah, kind of took the bait and there was nothing in there. And yeah, it was just very unlucky on your end, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you need a lot of luck as well to do well in randomizers sometimes. Like some seeds are like that. You know, there's literally anywhere and you need 1 item, and it's a toss-up. There's no like correct answer where you absolutely should go. Just whoever finds it first sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, you are kind of prepared to lose a match when you do a gamble like this. You're like, okay, I will skip this. I will try to see if it works out, and then if there's something in there, you just lost. So
yeah, honestly, I saw I kind of forgot about Tower Room for a while. I saw Gem finish. I was just like, oh, well, obviously Fire Rod must have been in Turtle Rock, or Mirror must have been in Turtle Rock. And that's why I went over there after Hera, because he had finished like somewhere around there while I was doing that, instead of going right to Pedestal. And then after Catfish, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I never went back into Tower Room.
Yeah. So with that in mind, do you plan on like checking that next time when you visit GT, or like do you usually skip it? Was it just this one time where you felt like you might be able to?
I mean, I usually check it in this mode. I just decided to skip it this time, and it did not work out. But I mean, it won't be the first time I skip something and get punished massively for it. So I kind of had to save and quit a couple extra times, messing up clips. So I was just trying to be greedy and make up a minute or 2, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, but I already told Gem, you guys did not softlock that much as you would expect in an Overworld glitches seed, so that was pretty good on your end as well. So I think you guys were pretty much even in like screwing up stuff. So
yeah, I think I messed up race game and had to save and quit from there because I moved to the right, I think it was, instead of down and up or something. And then I accidentally zoned into pod area when I was trying to clip into Village of Outcasts after dig game, which I don't think is recoverable, and I didn't want to
No.
risk it, so I just save and quit anyway.
Yeah, in fact, I think if you mess around too much, you will get that infinite scroll and not even be able to save and quit, and that would like lost you the hook shot at that point.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh well, I'll just, go do Dark Death Mountain and Ganon's Tower now that I have literally everything. I failed bomb jump for a while. That was kind of weird, but I don't know. I just haven't done it in a while. Kept getting hit by fireballs.
Yeah, so anything else you will prepare for tomorrow's match? I think you guys play at the same time tomorrow.
Yep.
Any thoughts going into that match too? Like, you still have a chance to come back from this. You had very good chances of winning this, so you feel confident in going into game 2? Do you like practice some clips maybe that digging game up to Village of Outcasts, or do you think that that's gonna work out somehow?
No, that one was just I pressed the wrong direction. I might revisit race game to make sure I know the exact inputs I need to not get stuck, but I mean, I've been practicing the clips off and on all week, and yeah, I probably won't really change much. Maybe just not make the greedy skip, because there's not a whole lot of reason to in this mode. I think things are kind of spread out enough as it is that it's pretty unlikely one long check will cost you anything. So I might not do that, but yeah. But I mean, I like my opener this seed. It got me hammer really quickly because I had a bottle already, so probably just do more of the same, but try and place more cleanly tomorrow.
All right. So do you guys have any last things you want to say? No? All right.
Good games. Have fun with Monster Hunter. I'm gonna go play some other games myself.
All right, Jax, do you have anything left you want to ask these guys?
No, not really. I mean, you've pretty much covered everything, Tulane. So props to you. I'll just say at this point, zer0rush, thank you guys very much for putting on quite the race for both of us tonight. You guys have did a great job entertaining all of us here on Speed Gaming 2. A huge shout out to Merc249 for jumping in and tracking for us at the last minute. Major props to you for stepping up for that. And Tulane, I will give you the last word. It has been a pleasure co-commentating with you tonight. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you guys so much for this awesome run. Thanks Merc for tracking. Thanks to the Speed Gaming crew for letting us restream this actually and showing like the world outside that there's more than regular rando in this. And yeah, it was a pleasure commentating with you. And if you guys like what you saw, give these two runners a follow. They really, really deserve it. They are very good at this game, and you can learn so much from them. And yeah, come back tomorrow, I guess, at the same time to watch their second game. I'm Thulane. This was Jax Raffi commentating with me, and yeah, see you tomorrow, I hope.